Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to talk about the continuation to where we left off on the service models of the cloud computing. Now, we have discussed about the on-prem enough. We have also discussed about infrastructure as a service, where the infrastructure is let out by a service provider like Amazon, Google, or you can say Microsoft as well. And there are other providers as well. I'm not mentioning that doesn't mean that they don't exist. There are so many providers right now who is providing the infrastructure as a service. And all you have to pay for them is the infrastructure cost. And it could be a hourly basis, or it could be like set up on agreed time frame, like 1 to 3 years. Now, AWS offers you such infrastructure as a service, but AWS does offer you even better than that, which is platform as a service. Now, for platform as a service, as you can see over here, well, AWS provides you till the middleware and the database level. Okay, so you only have to bring in your customer data or your employee data, and then put it on an existing application, which can run on a specific code line. Okay, and basically you can use your data, and that can be run using Amazon EKS is one of the examples. There are so many other platform as a service offerings from AWS. EKS is one of the good example where EKS is Elastic Kubernetes service, and it provides you the Kubernetes service for your application. So all you have to bring is in your application code, and then it can run on EKS. And EKS is fully managed service, so which means you don't really have to configure or overhead of an administrator needing to configure the the Kubernetes side of things, because that will be managed by a console. So this kind of platform as a service is also being offered to you, and there are so many other things which we will discuss later about. In terms of software as a service, a very good example is your Google Sheet. Is a very good example of software as a service, where you actually don't own any of the logics behind having this Google Sheet running. But then when you go to sheet.google.com, you will get the Google Sheet, Google spreadsheet. And all you have to do is like enter the data, save the data on Google, and then pretty much that's your software as a service, which means that you don't really have to indulge in any kind of coding or any kind of developer requirements. Nothing is there. So you, as an organization, doesn't have to buy a subscription which needs to be installed on a system as well. Like, for example, if you compare Google Sheet with Microsoft Excel, right? Microsoft Excel right now has a web version of it, like software as a service version of it. But before that, you had to download and install it on a system, which means that you need to own a computer and you need to have that physically installed on your system. But right now, you don't really have to do that with Google Sheet. Why? Because you can go to an internet center or browsing center, and you can actually open sheets.google.com, log in with your ID, do your Excel sheet work, and then save and quit it. And you don't have to even install anything on that system. So you can use it like temporary basis, and then get your works done, and then pack it up and leave it. The same thing as well for your storage as a service, right? So, for example, this in this situation, so that is one predefined software which is let out for a subscription basis, where you can subscribe for that software by paying some money, and then you can access it from anywhere around the world if you just have a browser. And the same thing for the storage as well. So you go for a subscription basis, and then all you will do is like access the storage on Google Drive or Dropbox or any kind of a storage as a service. S3 also is one of those services from Amazon, which can be given as an example at this point of time. And you can download stuff from anywhere around the world, give access to anyone, viewing access or something like that, and then you can just share the link, and anyone around the world can download that. But you still have to pay a subscription fees for that particular service, and that particular service is from the cloud. So best example is Google Drive. So I always use Google Drive for sharing my documents and stuff like that. You can also think GitHub also has the same method where we can actually store our codes and the archives in GitHub, and that can be shared as well. So GitHub can also be considered as a it's a kind of a hybrid between a software as a service and storage as a service, because it can be used as both. So likewise, you have so many live examples around the world right now over the internet, and you can find one of this at least which you are actually using it daily. So these are something which is cloud enabled service models, and these models actually gives you a complete representation of what is the capability of a cloud based systems. I hope you understood this. So this is going to be very useful for you when you start working with cloud-based, so that you can actually differentiate which is in the cloud and which is not. Okay, so I think that by this time you should understand what is in the cloud and what is not, and just try to understand the things, the items which you are using currently in your daily life. See which ones are involved in cloud and which one isn't, so that you can actually understand the difference between that. So the best way is to try that yourself and try to understand. All right. Thank you again for watching this video. On another video, we will see some more examples with this kind of live examples. Yeah.